What if a single man could break the boundaries of geography, history, and identity itself? In July 1954, a traveler appeared in Tokyo with paperwork from a nation that didn't exist. Stamped, sealed, and undeniably real. For decades, the man from Taured remained legend until 2025, when newly leaked intelligence surfaced, not in a government report, but during a shocking Laura Ingraham broadcast. What followed wasn't science fiction. It was something far more disturbing. This wasn't a tale of time travel, it was a test. And the results are unraveling reality as we know it. The Man from Taured mystery finally solved in 2025, and it's not good. The arrival that shouldn't have happened. In July 1954, at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, a routine arrival turned into a puzzling anomaly that baffled officials and historians alike. A man disembarked from a European flight, carrying the appearance of a standard international traveler, neatly dressed in a tailored suit and holding a leather briefcase, typical of businessmen in that era. Yet what transpired next would challenge fundamental understandings of geography, identity verification, and official documentation. Upon routine inspection, the customs officials discovered something unprecedented. The man's passport listed his nationality as being from Taured. This immediately raised suspicion because no recognized sovereign state by that name existed on any current or historical global map. To further complicate the issue, the passport itself appeared legitimate. It contained proper ink, official seals, and visa stamps from numerous countries, including multiple prior entries into Japan, indicating repeated international travel. The passport's craftsmanship indicated a government-issued document rather than a forgery. The stamps showed entries from nations across Europe and Asia, consistent with genuine travel history. Authorities were confronted with a paradox: a traveler possessing authentic documentation that originated from a country that simply did not exist in official records or international registries. This situation challenged the airport's security protocols and the verification systems in place at the time. The man was detained for further questioning, as standard procedures could not resolve the anomaly. The case was escalated, resulting in a classified file within airport security and intelligence departments, marking the start of an unsolved mystery that would perplex researchers for decades. Geography collides with reality. Under intensified interrogation, the man was asked to provide further geographical details about his home country, Taured. He produced a physical map and confidently pointed to a location on the border between France and Spain. According to him, this was the precise area of Taured's territory. However, geopolitical knowledge and official maps of Europe identified this region as Andorra, a microstate situated in the eastern Pyrenees Mountains. When the man was confronted with the name Andorra, he expressed confusion and distress. He insisted that Taured was a distinct nation with a history spanning over 1,000 years, separate from Andorra. His insistence suggested a deep familiarity and personal identification with Taured as a real country. The discrepancy between his claims and established cartography presented a significant contradiction. Airport officials considered a range of explanations, including mental health issues, deliberate deception, or a misunderstanding of geopolitical boundaries. However, the man's fluency in multiple languages, familiarity with travel procedures, and coherent explanations challenged simplistic conclusions. Security teams heightened vigilance, as the presence of an unidentified foreign national with official documentation of unknown origin posed potential risks. Simultaneously, intelligence agencies reviewed geopolitical data and historical records for any references to a country resembling Taured, but found none. This gap in knowledge further compounded the mystery, raising questions about the validity of national borders, the integrity of identification systems, and possible clandestine explanations. The incident triggered internal debates about how to classify the man: a traveler from an unknown or lost nation, a victim of mistaken identity, or an outright anomaly defying known geographic and political reality. Despite thorough scrutiny, no official resolution emerged, and the case faded into obscurity, resurfacing decades later as a remarkable and unexplained event. The vanishing in plain sight. The moment authorities realized the man's origins were unexplainable, They moved quickly, but cautiously. He was escorted to a modest hotel nearby, one of the less conspicuous ones near Haneda Airport, chosen specifically for its lack of public access and limited surveillance blind spots. The room was sterilized, stripped of any means of escape. No balconies, no fire escapes, no windows that opened beyond a narrow ventilation slot. The door was reinforced and locked with multiple security measures. 2 uniformed guards stood outside the door at all times, relaying updates to a centralized control room. The man was cooperative at first, responding to questions with calm confidence, showing a document that appeared genuine but was impossible to verify. He seemed rational, composed, but insistent about his origins. Despite his calm, suspicion grew. Officials were baffled. The man carried no identification beyond the passport stamped by unknown authorities, and no trace of any official record existed in international databases. Throughout the night, officers took shifts monitoring the hallway. The hotel security cameras covering the corridor showed nothing unusual, no forced entry, no suspicious activity. Yet, by dawn, when the morning shift arrived to check on him, the room was empty. No broken locks, no signs of tampering. His luggage was gone. Even the passport, that central piece of the puzzle, had disappeared. The man himself seemed to have dissolved into thin air. Surveillance tapes showed no one entering or leaving during the hours of his disappearance. Intense investigations followed behind closed doors. Searches were conducted throughout the hotel, the surrounding area, and all nearby transport terminals. No footprints, no witnesses, no digital trail. It was as if he had simply vanished. Internal reports, highly classified and marked for official use only, were quietly filed away by Japanese authorities. The unusual incident was archived but never publicly disclosed. Higher-ups deemed the case too perplexing and potentially embarrassing. Officially, the man from Taured was erased from records, a mystery locked in silence. Yet whispers persisted. Rumors circulated within intelligence circles and among curious insiders. Was this a case of espionage, a fabrication, or something stranger? The birth of a legend. Over the ensuing decades, the story slipped from official files into the realm of myth and speculation. Fringe magazines first picked it up. Small circulation newsletters devoted to unexplained phenomena and government cover-ups. From there, it exploded online, evolving as it was retold. By the dawn of the internet age, forums dedicated to conspiracy theories debated the man's identity endlessly. Some argued he was a traveler from a parallel universe, a glimpse into an alternate Earth where history had diverged. Others posited he was a time traveler, caught between moments and realities. Documentaries emerged, produced with cinematic flair, blending sparse facts with sweeping theories. Books were published, each author weaving their own narrative, speculating wildly about secret government experiments, dimensional breaches, or international cover-ups. The man's story, once a simple report of a strange traveler, had blossomed into an enduring legend. The man from Taured became shorthand for the unexplained, a symbol of the mysteries lurking at the edges of reality. But amid the swirling theories, one crucial fact was overlooked. No one ever went back to scrutinize the original reports, to investigate the people who first encountered him, or to analyze the environment and geopolitical context of 1950s Tokyo. Who was he truly? Where did he come from? And how did he disappear so completely without a trace? These questions were buried beneath layers of myth. The origins of the story itself faded, lost in translation and sensationalism. It wasn't until recent years, as technology advanced and archival research intensified, that scholars began to peel back the layers. Digital forensics, access to newly declassified government files, and AI-assisted document analysis have started to shed new light on this enigmatic episode. Because the true story of the man from Taured, far from being a simple urban legend, may hold clues that challenge our very understanding of reality. The files they forgot. In the early months of 2025, amid a surge of global efforts to digitize and declassify Cold War-era intelligence and government archives, a lone researcher in Tokyo stumbled upon a file that had escaped attention for decades. This file, curiously marked with the codename ZEGRUS, was tucked deep inside the Ministry of Justice's restricted records, long presumed irrelevant or lost. It was an unexpected window into one of the strangest anomalies of the mid-20th century. The file contained documentation directly connected to the mysterious man who had appeared at Haneda Airport in 1954, the so-called Man from Taured. But here, the narrative took a more mundane, unsettling turn. The photograph inside the file was unmistakably the same as the grainy sketch famously circulated. A sharply dressed man in a suit, his face calm yet inscrutable. Yet the name under this photo was no Man from Taured. Instead, it read John Allen Kuchar Zegras. According to the ministry's records, Zegras had been detained, not for interdimensional travel or impossible geography, but on suspicion of document fraud. The charge was simple: forgery. He was accused of presenting a fabricated passport, deliberately misleading customs officials. The investigators' reports detailed interrogations, background checks, and linguistic tests, all of which confirmed Zegras's ability to communicate fluently in multiple languages, his knowledge of international borders, and his oddly precise grasp of geopolitical realities for someone suspected of being a simple imposter. But the file revealed something far more perplexing. Zegras's documents had passed inspection at several checkpoints. His passport bore legitimate-looking stamps from numerous countries, including official visa marks from Japan itself. How was this possible in an era where international travel documentation was tightly controlled, especially amidst Cold War anxieties? These were questions the original investigators struggled to answer. Moreover, the file contained a series of internal memos expressing frustration and confusion. Officials noted that despite extensive efforts, they never conclusively disproved Zegras's identity. The man's true origins remained a mystery. Even after his arrest and subsequent disappearance from official records, no definitive explanation ever emerged. The case was quietly archived, shrouded in bureaucratic silence, effectively forgotten until now. The rediscovery of the Zegras file in 2025 reignited old debates among researchers and conspiracy theorists alike. It exposed glaring gaps in the historical record and cast doubt on long-held assumptions. Was John Allen Kuchar Zegras simply a brilliant forger, or was something far stranger at play? The file raised more questions than it answered, challenging the line between fact and fiction. A passport to nowhere. Delving deeper into the documents, investigators in 2025 focused on the details of Zegras's passport itself, an artifact as enigmatic as the man it belonged to. The passport listed his nationality as Taured, south of the Sahara, a designation that initially appeared to be entirely fictional. Taured was not a recognized country on any contemporary or historical map. Yet, when cross-referenced with global geographic databases, the location roughly corresponded to a real-world region. Tamanrasset, a remote province in southern Algeria, known as the home of the Tuareg people. This linguistic connection was intriguing. The name Taured seemed to be a near anagram or phonetic twist on Tuareg, a traditionally nomadic Berber ethnic group with a rich cultural history centered in the Sahara Desert. But how could Zegras have come from this isolated desert region and simultaneously display knowledge of modern geography and fluent multilingualism? Further investigation revealed that Zegras had an unusual and sophisticated understanding of the world, far beyond what might be expected of an itinerant traveler or con artist. Witness accounts and interrogation transcripts described him effortlessly switching between languages such as French, English, Japanese, and Arabic. He demonstrated an uncanny awareness of current political boundaries, economic ties, and diplomatic protocols. Adding to the puzzle was his strikingly polished demeanor and authoritative confidence. Officials described Zegras as highly intelligent and persuasive, capable of maintaining composure even under intense scrutiny. These qualities contradicted the profile of a typical fraudster or imposter. The most baffling aspect, however, was his vanishing act. After his arrest, Zegras disappeared without trace. No records of his release or transfer survived. No further sightings were ever confirmed. It was as if the man had been erased from official memory. This combination of linguistic skill, geographic knowledge, and inexplicable disappearance has led some researchers to theorize that Zagreus may have been more than a simple fraudster, perhaps a deeply embedded spy, a defector, or something altogether more extraordinary. But without conclusive evidence, these remain speculative. What remains undeniable is that Zagreus' story, tied irrevocably to the mysterious man from Taured, continues to defy logical explanation. His passport was not merely a document, it was a key to a puzzle whose pieces still do not fit. And in the shifting shadows of Cold War intrigue and bureaucratic oversight, the truth remains just out of reach. The attempted suicide. The story of John Allen Kuchar Zagreus took an even darker turn shortly after his infamous arrest. The courtroom, already tense from the confusion surrounding his mysterious identity, erupted into chaos when, in a sudden and shocking act, Zagreus rose from his seat. Hidden in the depths of his mouth was a shard of glass, cunningly concealed and ready for a desperate attempt to end it all. Without warning, he slashed deeply across his forearms, sending a spray of blood into the sterile courtroom air. His anguished cries filled the room, a haunting echo of despair and confusion. Security personnel and medical staff rushed in, their urgency matching the gravity of the moment. Despite the severity of his injuries, Zagreus was stabilized and transferred to a nearby hospital, where doctors worked tirelessly through the night to save his life. His survival only deepened the mystery. Why would a man with so much to lose try to erase himself so violently? Was it guilt, fear, or the crushing weight of an unexplainable existence? Following his recovery, the official trail of Zagreus' life grew faint. Court documents noted his sentence, but after his release, government records ceased to track his whereabouts. He was quietly deported, and no subsequent official evidence verified his continued existence. Even the identity of his wife, believed to be Korean, was shrouded in silence. She was quietly sent back to her homeland with no public acknowledgement. The world soon moved on, content to file the incident away as a strange footnote in immigration history. Yet the question that lingered beneath the surface was far more profound and unsettling. Who was John Allen Kuchar Zagreus, and why did his story abruptly vanish into the shadows? Secrets buried in the dust. Decades after Zagreus' dramatic courtroom episode, a new piece of the puzzle emerged from an unlikely place, a quiet, overlooked archive on the outskirts of Paris. In early 2025, historians and intelligence analysts reviewing Cold War-era files uncovered a letter sent to French intelligence in 1961. This letter referred cryptically to a man known as Zagreus, who had mysteriously slipped into Europe through Syria under the guise of a false diplomatic cover, an identity carefully constructed to evade scrutiny. The letter didn't just recount his entrance into Europe but suggested something far more sinister. It implied that Zagreus was no ordinary individual, but rather a pawn or subject in a covert psychological operation, a shadowy program designed to implant false identities in agents, potentially to destabilize and confuse border security systems amid the escalating tensions of the Cold War. This operation was part of early experimental work on psychological manipulation and identity falsification, a precursor to what would later become known through declassified documents as mind control experiments. Such programs sought to create disoriented individuals whose fabricated backgrounds would make them invaluable for espionage or disinformation campaigns, but also left them fragmented and disconnected from any true origin. The implications of this discovery sent shockwaves through the intelligence community. Could Zagreus have been a human guinea pig, trapped in a labyrinth of false memories and shadow identities? Was his mysterious disappearance a deliberate erasure to cover up the failures or dangers of such experiments? This newly unearthed document hinted at a larger, darker narrative buried beneath layers of classified files and Cold War paranoia, one that blurred the line between reality and constructed identity, raising chilling questions about the human cost of covert statecraft. He exists. After decades of mystery, speculation, and countless theories about the so-called man from Taured, modern technology has finally pierced through the fog of myth. In 2025, advances in facial recognition and AI-driven identity verification unlocked a breakthrough no one thought possible. Using enhanced image analysis software trained on archives spanning multiple decades and continents, experts compared the passport photos from the 1954 Haneda airport incident to newly uncovered intelligence files in Europe. The results were unequivocal. The man previously known only as Zegris was identified conclusively. He existed. But this wasn't just a man wandering out of time or space. Zegris was a living, breathing product of Cold War ingenuity, a ghost engineered by shadowy intelligence agencies. Newly declassified documents revealed he was part of a covert psychological operation designed to test the limits of identity fabrication. From birth, his identity had been carefully constructed and maintained by a network of operatives, tasked with embedding him into international travel systems, borders, and governments. Every stamp on his passport, every visa, every name on hotel registries was deliberately planted to build a seamless illusion. His disappearance, which had baffled officials for decades, was no accident or supernatural event. Instead, it was a calculated extraction. The agencies responsible for creating Zegris had orchestrated his removal from public view once the experiment concluded, or when the risk of exposure became too high. His true identity was erased from public records. His fate remains classified. Yet what matters is the proof. He is real. Not a myth, not a hoax, but a man born from the darkest experiments in espionage. His existence confirms that reality itself can be manipulated through manufactured identity and memory. What they didn't tell you. The Taured incident was never about a lost traveler. It was a calculated experiment, one designed to probe the limits of identity, perception, and geopolitical control. What began in 1954 was not an anomaly or a quirky airport legend. It was a test. A cold, clinical probe into how easily the systems that define us, passports, borders, governments, could be manipulated and weaponized. For decades, the story of the man from Taured floated in the margins of urban legend, dismissed as folklore. But in 2025, the final puzzle piece fell into place. During a segment on the Ingram Angle, Laura Ingram broke the story live. Leaked intelligence reports confirmed the existence of a new passport, discovered at a small checkpoint near the Belarus-Poland border. The passport bore the insignia of a nation called Lireska. It was processed. It passed inspection. Yet no such country exists. Experts examined the document on air, revealing traces of synthetic ink polymers that no known government had access to. Linguistic forensics exposed a fabricated language inscribed in the passport. This was not a forgery in the traditional sense. It was something else entirely. Within hours, the broadcast was pulled from multiple platforms, and the story vanished from major headlines. But independent investigators kept digging, piecing together a chilling new chapter in this unfolding saga. Behind closed doors, analysts issued an urgent internal bulletin. The same protocols used to create Zegris, the original man from Taured, had not only persisted, but evolved. Now, augmented by artificial intelligence, biometric manipulation, neural implants, and deepfake technology, these synthetic identities have moved beyond theory. They were operational, functional, and terrifyingly effective. If a false citizen could be introduced into the global system, validated by multiple international checkpoints, then no border is secure. No nation is impenetrable. No digital safeguard is foolproof. The man from Taured was not a ghost or a myth. He was real. He exists. And now, so do many more. This was not merely a curiosity, it was a proof of concept that identity can be molded, bent, and weaponized. The invisible lines on maps, the passports in our wallets, the bureaucratic systems we trust to verify who we are. All of these are shockingly vulnerable to manipulation. Nationhood, personal history, memory itself. All can be constructed, implanted, and used as tools of psychological warfare and subversion. The implications are profound, chilling, and dangerous beyond imagination. With this technology advancing rapidly, the ability to manufacture identities, manipulate memories, and infiltrate governments is not just possible, it's becoming routine. What comes next is not just unsettling, it is profoundly dangerous. The very fabric of trust that underpins societies worldwide is under siege. The veil has lifted just enough for us to glimpse this unsettling future. The Man from Taured mystery finally solved in 2025, and it's not good. Now that you've seen the full breakdown, what do you believe? Was he from another world, or a carefully crafted lie meant to test us all? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching this video with us, and catch you in the next one.